Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet and of YouTube, and welcome back to Ringlight Fables. I am your host and dungeon master, Skijaramaz, otherwise known as Tone Shift. Why isn't the Watch Together room playing its music? Oh, that's why. There we go. I had the tab muted for some reason. So, really quick, before we begin, we are down one player. He should be joining us later. You know who it is, on brand, it's Impulsive. But joining me today, we have the rest of our fair band of adventurers. We have SepiaWolfe playing Tuki Fletcher, our Croven thief.
Hello.
We have Mick playing Boron, our half-dwarven battlemaster.
Greetings.
We have Willyzin playing Ludviek, our Raithari paladin of Suna.
Oh, thou.
We have Goldwyn playing Minnove, our kobold bard of lore.
Hello.
And Impulsive is playing Kari, our Croven bard of glamour. He will be joining us later, I hope, but we don't exactly actually have a good track record of that coming true when I say it. But we'll see, so I'm just gonna slide that down. It's gonna be an empty portrait for the time being. It's fine, nobody panic. So,
I'll give it my best to not panic.
So, not appearing in this film.
not appearing in this film, Anakin Skywalker as himself. I don't know. We're 2 minutes in and I just violated copyright somewhere. Anyway, so, where last we left off, our newly formed band of adventurers had taken their leave from the settlement of Lamsong and set off on the long road to the capital of Valrive, the Academy City, known as Asmara. They stopped in the wealth-disparitied mining city of Anterine en route, a hub of trade and commerce, to reunite with a close friend of Minnove's, an individual named Robert, who she affectionately nicknamed Uncle Bob, so Bob is her uncle, who presides over the Blue Butterfly Inn and Tavern in the city. There, the party settled down, got some food and drinks, just generally relaxed, and made a catastrophic mistake by ingesting a substance known as water with a capital W. This potent alcoholic beverage, largely odorless and largely tasteless, knocked basically everyone except Boron flat on their ass. So the first chunk of last session was spent on everyone being magnificently hungover out of their ass and having to fix that, ultimately culminating in abusing Ludviek's powers as a paladin. It was a largely mellow and mundane day, with the party just handling a couple of errands, restocking on some supplies, and upgrading their travel system from a lone donkey to a horse named Butterscotch, hitched up to a cart that can hold basically the whole group, or most of them at the very least. At the same time, Ludviek, wishing to fulfill his obligations to the settlement of Lamsong, took a letter from the mayor of Lamsong to the commander of the garrison in Anterine, one Lucasin Ferelith. getting him up to speed on the state of affairs in Lamsong and their recent issues with the gang headed by a Krava named Jaka Bleakfeather. Apparently, according to Lucasen, the decline in patrols of late that made Jaka's brazen behavior so easy is because, for whatever reason, though he did not disclose what precisely, some troops have been reallocated to another issue of late. When pressed for details, he said that his people have it well in hand. With nothing else for it, you reconvened, gathered up your things, and returned to the road, making your way north, out of Anterine, and towards the edges of the Forest of 1,000 Rivers, the great woodland region that dominates the core of Valrive, in the hopes of reaching the Academy City. You wound up stopping relatively early, as you'd left kind of late in the day, to just sit down, have a chat, learn a little bit more about each other, piece together some of your individual personal histories from before this group came together, and just generally socialize. You also discovered that Butterscotch, your horse, seemingly has a parasite of some description in one of her hooves. Nothing life-threatening, but it was enough to annoy her and make her a feisty one that didn't like her hooves being touched. You were out of lay-on-hands points to heal that at the time, but you did take note of it to resolve it come the morning. Then, after your prolonged conversation of sharing stories and personal history and annoying the shit out of Kari because he didn't want to do this, you tucked in for a good night of sleep with the warm glow of a campfire to keep you comfortable and warm as the night passed you over. That was where we left off, and so that is where we shall resume the following morning, the beginning of the 13th and final week of the season of summer. So, just bring us down here. So, the sun gradually rises, pulling those of you still in slumber from your rest, golden shafts filtering between the gaps of the handful of trees at this outermost thin layer of the great forest, sort of stirring you to wakefulness and chasing off the last vestiges of your dreams. And Tuki, in particular, I would like for you to just roll for me a flat d20.
Okie doke.
15. All right. So, you will awaken last, but not necessarily by a lot. And as you wake up, still very much just flat on your back as you had been when the sleep spell had been cast on you the previous night, coming to, you feel weird.
I was hoping that would feel better.
You feel good. You don't like it. It's a foreign feeling. You are well rested. It doesn't feel right. Like you have energy in your fingers and in your toes, your talons. You kind of like sit up a bit and like your mind is more awake and alert and attentive. You're picking out more details more readily than normal. Just, you almost feel a minor sense of sort of sensory overload as it just dawns on you. You had a good night's sleep. That is a new feeling for you. Do with it what you will.
Hi, Mom. Good morning there, Tuki.
Hello, I am last to wake up.
Well, there's Boron.
Boron is still knocked out as usual.
I was told I was last awake.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if y'all want to override my omnipotence, you are welcome to a certain
Well,
extent. I think it would be funnier.
I thought you said mostly
Boron is
Mostly last awake.
Boron might be
very-
awake, but he's still down, I guess.
It's possible, yeah.
Yeah. Like, you're awake,
Lights are
but you
on, but
haven't
nobody's
gotten
home.
up. You're in that comfortable phase where you've woken up, but you aren't up yet. You're kind of enjoying the cozy warmth while you can.
Either way, good morning. How'd you feel?
Strange, but
Strange good or strange not
I-
good?
a bit of a mix, but mostly good.
Well, that's good, I guess.
Now, a good night's sleep is a very important thing. Well rested, well minded. And you guys turn over to see that Ludviek's got like a bowl of water, and he's actually trimming his beard and mustache with a small pair of daggers.
Daggers.
Are those sharpened? Or
Indeed.
I
I picked them up from another traveling merchant. Quite better than using normal.
Well, daggers, depending on it, can be quite dull, depending.
Generally, you're supposed to use hand shears, but we
Yeah.
don't have those on hand, I think, so...
You know what? While we were in Lamsong, we should have gotten him some shears.
Well, that's what these are. They're dagger shears, see? And they're literally just two daggers that have been tied together into a makeshift shear.
Oh my
Oh.
goodness.
The fact that he's
Sweetie.
able to trim his beard with this is probably astounding to you.
Sweetie.
You know what, actually, Ludviek?
Oh, 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 oh.
Hmm?
Dexterity check.
Oh no! Oh, shouldn't have been creative. Saving throw or regular?
Regular.
Okay.
Oh no.
That does remind me, I was supposed to give Donald a shave. My hands are actually the steadiest they've ever been.
Ludviek was wait, you'd be like, I got it myself, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah, so as you're sort of saying that, Tuki, Ludviek, with that 7, you'd been doing fine, but then you started talking. And the movement of your jaw made the movements of your hairs and your mane and mustache and whatnot move a little bit, and it throws off your aim just a little bit. And let's be real here. This is a makeshift, do it at home slap job. So you kind of get thrown off a little bit, and like one of the daggers kind of slips up a little bit and just like pokes you in the cheek and leaves just like a tiny little stab mark there.
Oh,
Ludviek, sweetie, we're gonna when we get to the city, we're gonna get you some shears.
no, don't trouble yourself on my account.
I'm
These
not.
are
I'm not.
mine for the time being.
Nah, well, very much appreciated, Boron. Thank you.
Boron unpacks complete mustache and beard trimming sets with several shears and knives and whatnot.
You just
Oh.
carry that with you?
I guess he does
course.
now.
Well, it makes sense. He is man at arms. They are known for
It's,
carrying many
uh,
weapons.
It's rather common among dwarves.
Fair, I
Alright.
guess.
I got it as a present.
Well, we got some time. If anyone wants to do shaving, and Donald, Tuki is ready to shave you.
Mostly I just want to be made to look a little neat. I'm not interested in like a full shave, just evening things out and getting rid of the scruff a bit.
Give him a buzz.
Do not give me a buzz. My father will never let me hear the end of it if I come home and I'm balder than he is.
Yeah, they'll think you've become a monk.
He'll
mean-
think someone had fun with me and he'll laugh at my expense.
But not
Good-
to sound disrespectful, but didn't someone have fun with you technically
That is very different.
Fair, true. Sorry.
Yeah. Generally speaking, a lighthearted prank is a little bit more socially acceptable than torture. So.
Yeah, I'd agree. As someone who's never been tortured, yeah, I'd agree.
I pray you never are. It's not fun.
Doesn't look like it, no. I will go out and scavenge a little bit. You all do what you need to do, and I'm gonna go and just walk around the area.
All right.
Minnove, do you have like something that helps you with that?
My nose.
Legs.
I'm out of character, but you guys are... Oh, okay.
I mean, if we're talking scavenging for food or whatnot, that would be like survival, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. To which I actually Ludviek then coughs and says, "Oh, Minnove. Well, if you're looking for something, I could have sworn I saw possibly some bushes back in that direction." And he points in the a little bit to the north, probably, or something, or wherever the DM would decide.
All right, sure. Sure.
All
Some
right,
bushes
I'll
in the area.
go check those. And Minnove's gonna go and scamper off while everybody does their thing.
All right.
Okay, I
Survival
suppose I
check.
have that
Take
too.
advantage because of Wanderer.
I help my friends.
Advantage.
Yeah.
And survival, you say?
Yeah.
Advantage, I am okay.
Cool. It'll take you a bit, but you are good. So, and everyone else, so we have Boron trimming the lion and Tuki trimming the boy, right?
I can.
Cool.
All right,
More
all
or
right.
less.
I guess that's how we're spending our morning. Kari, I'll just say, has, as you're all sort of going about this, I'll just do something here for him. It's like, well, if we're going to spend a little bit just trimming out some feathers, I'll handle myself and take a nap up here because I'm still a little tuckered. You all have fun. And he'll just spend a little bit preening himself in the back of the wagon and then fuck off to take a nap. So now we know what he's doing. Alrighty. So, you all, if there's any conversations y'all want to have while you're performing hair maintenance, by all means.
Yeah, Ludviek, you wanted to take a look at the hoof of our beast of burden.
Ah, yes. After we're done, I could definitely do that. I feel the light within me again now. I'm definitely sure I can fix that and help our fine equine friend out.
Sounds good to me.
Make sure you'll get under that. Yes, right there. Good, yes.
Alright, and does Tuki have anything she wants to ask or not?
I think just idle conversation, probably something along the lines of like, "Is this how you all feel all the time? This was great." I feel like I could run to our next destination.
Maybe don't do that. Save your energy for when you need it. Though maybe, if you're feeling this bouncy, maybe it would be good for you to walk beside the wagon instead of riding in it. Burn some of that off so you can sleep tonight.
Good idea. That's a very good idea. I need to remember to thank Minnove when she gets back.
Speaking of Minnove, with that 23 survival, sort of following Ludviek's direction, you shuffle back along the path for a bit. I'd say maybe like 5 minutes at most, maybe 10 at most. And you eventually find, sort of little off to the right of the road, you find this, looks like there's like a small, like, runoff of shallow water, maybe like some lesser stream that kind of runs alongside the major river here. Maybe feeds into it later and kind of dips in and feeds into like a really, really tiny lake, barely more than a pond. You know, you could probably swim across that in like a minute. But it has an abundance of shrubs and bushes around it with colorful berries and nuts and other things growing on them in this warm, brightly sunny day. You see a handful of deer sort of on the other side, gently drinking from the water's edge, sort of look up at you as you approach. Ears flick a few times.
Minnove looks at the deer and like contemplates like hunting, but she's like, no. All right. Berries for, I guess, Kari, Tuki, Donal. Does Boron eat berries? Nuts. Nuts. All right, focus. Minnove's gonna go over and try to collect as much berries as she can. She's gonna also try and figure out which ones are possibly poisonous and which ones aren't.
I mean, with that survival skill of roll of 23, it's easy enough, and you've been on the road long enough that you have a pretty good idea of what's good to eat and what's not. Your nose is a big help here. You kind of sniff at different berries and nuts, and like, nope, that's not good. That's good. And basically, like, you're like, because your shirt is so obnoxiously baggy, you basically untuck it from the front and just make like a big bag out of it and just load up. So...
I'm also gonna...
that is fantastic mental image. I love it.
Right?
I hope there's a drawing of it someday.
I also want to take my pouch and take some of the poisoned berries.
Ooh. Okay.
Just a couple of them.
Yeah, you can take a few poison berries.
Yeah, a few not good. Yeah. Don't know what they do, but like...
They poison.
They might come in handy. They poison. They might be handy.
They might be handy. If you can make something with them. Otherwise, the only way they'll do anything is if they get eaten, and they'll give someone the poison status condition and maybe diarrhea.
Oh, trust me. That's the idea. Minnove's then going to, with her now shirt kind of like full of berries and nuts and all those like kind of foragey things, she's gonna start waddling back to the group, just like very careful not to have it spill, but like she even has her tail kind of like supporting the bottom of it.
So it takes you a little longer to come back with your haul, but you know. Like, Minnove's gone a total of maybe 17 to 20 minutes before she comes back, and I'd say at around this point, like, Ludviek's trim and Donald's trim are basically done, and you're sort of, like, just putting away the tools for those when Minnove comes back over the hill, and those of you who look just see her coming back with a mound of colorful berries. And she is adorable waddling like that.
Hello! She waves her hand and lets go a little bit, and some berries kind of fall, and she quickly grabs it. Hello! I found berries!
Goodness.
It's a lot.
We will eat like kings and queens.
What about for you?
Except we won't, because they tend to eat... Except we won't, because they tend to eat pigs. We'll eat like very, very competent rangers.
Well, yeah. You all get to enjoy this. Ludviek and myself will use the rations we have, but I think this will be good. Boron, you eat berries, right?
Sure.
And nuts?
I eat pretty much everything if I'm pressed.
Oh, I can press you.
I very much doubt that.
Did you mean for that to sound sexual, or?
No, but it's Minnove, so fuck it. Well, you seem quite lighter of me from our first interaction, so I think I've pressed you enough. She kind of grins and then is like, all right, is there a bag where I can put this so I can put my shirt down?
Here. Tuki will empty one of her pouches.
Oh, thank you, Tuki.
Okay. You have just a mound of berries, I guess.
And nuts. It's
We
a
don't-
trail mix.
Yeah, right? We don't really keep track of rations here, but, like, you have at least several days' worth of berries and nuts. So.
Oh, right.
Would I notice the poison berries she has in the bunch, or
Those are
I don't
kept
have
in a
them in a
separate.
bunch.
Those are kept in a separate pouch.
Okay.
I don't have them showing to you guys. Why would I
Yeah.
show you guys my poison berries?
Well, I don't know. You got a medicine man with you.
Yeah. Anyways. So, all right. So, with that done, all that remains, I suppose, is butterscotch.
Yes. Since my lay on hands got this, Ludviek would go over to Butterscotch and, after, approaching the beast slowly, making himself known, approaching from the side, he'd motion towards the hoof. He's not going to expend a
A spell slot on this.
yes. I'm not sure if animals can understand, but he would say, "Hello again, Butterscotch. I'm here to make sure that your hoof feels better now." He would motion that he's gonna go for the hoof, but he's being slow about it.
Animal handling check.
Ooh. Even with that good number.
Well, as it is, you have discussed with Butterscotch about this before, so even though she doesn't understand anything you're saying now, the DC was pretty low, so I'll let you have it. So, Butterscotch just kind of snorts at you a few times as you gently pick up the hoof. But doesn't otherwise resist or fight.
All right, and then and you calmly Ludviek will go, "Yeah, all right then. You should feel better soon." And he puts his hand to where the hoof is, over it, but not touching it directly, and starts to push energy into it, to heal,
All right.
focusing on healing it, to
Yep.
get that parasite out.
Yep, so you go ahead and spend those lay on hands points. Sort of in your offhand, you have your ringstone clutched. You utter the arcane words necessary to invoke the healing energy. And as you sort of do it, Butterscotch sort of tenses for a second, makes a couple little, sort of like somewhat discomforted sounds as just this something kind of squiggly, just kind of sort of pushes out of the little gap in the hoof and then falls out. And it's this little, but closest equivalent is it's like a beetle almost, but not quite. It's like a cross between a big beetle and a sea urchin. And that it's kind of this really short, stubby, sort of black slimy worm with a bunch of little tendrils kind of breaching off of it and kind of twitching in all directions. It's really small, like smaller than like a baby peanut.
I squish it.
You squish it, it's dead.
Yep.
Just kind of crush it under your thumb.
Dealing with that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then Ludviek would make sure that the keratin over the hoof heals over, or well, actually the keratin would probably take much longer than a heal spell, so just the flesh underneath heals.
Yeah. So you spend a little bit of extra time just channeling a few soothing words into it, and then afterward you pull back a bit. Butterscotch tentatively puts the hoof down, settles her weight on it, and visibly relaxes.
Yeah, stroke her. Yeah, Ludviek strokes her mane and is just like, "There you go. Should not feel the need for pain anymore now."
Sort of shakes her head back and forth a bunch.
Ludviek looks over to
Paws
the
at
group.
the earth a few times.
Ludviek looks back over to the group and gives a thumbs up. I believe she'll be okay now.
Did good work.
Imagine you just like looking like Hiccup giving a thumbs up. Ah!
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. To which he says turns to Donald and says, "Well, if life on the road as a missionary does not work, maybe I could be animal handler. Stable hand.
Maybe. I can think of worse lines of work for one trained in Suno's arts. Well then. Shall we get a move on then?
I think so.
I'm ready to go.
Who wants to get the bird out of the tree?
The what?
I thought he's in the back of the cart.
Oh, I thought he was up top in a tree branch. Never mind.
Why would he be in a tree?
That's
But, you know,
monkeys.
I mean, I know he's like, excuse my language here, Tuki, but I know he's like a bird, but like, I don't think he can properly fly up into a tree.
I thought he went up at the one to sleep.
No, he just hung out in the back of the wagon. He preened himself and then laid down to take a nap because you were all taking a while to do anything.
Ah.
Either way,
Right.
got a long road.
All right. Up.
Oh,
Up.
the magic happened.
Right. He just showed up in the roll 20. Could he be here? Perhaps. Maybe.
Well, either or.
Right, well, either way then, I'll just... So, you all go ahead, gather up your supplies, break camp, get yourselves sort of tucked up into the back of the wagon, and having only blown a little bit of time, you turn your attentions northward, and you set off.
Huzzah.
The further north you push, the denser the forest becomes. What begins as the occasional copse of evergreens amidst patches of green meadows thick with shrubs and colorful flowers gradually morphs into more of a labyrinth of wooden towers. The canopy steadily thickens over your heads, ripe with bird song and the occasional chittering of distant animals. Here, just adjusting something. Every so often, you pass by some shallow stream or another, winding their elaborate paths through the terrain toward the great Lake Bafluril to your north and west. It's a peaceful atmosphere, to be sure. Peaceful, relaxing, calming, soothing to the nerves. Just being surrounded on all sides by just calm, quiet, but well-wearied nature. You all know that this is a well-patrolled road, being one of the main roads leading to the capital. Routine patrols pass this way all the time, and that gives you a measure of confidence in the safety of just the path. Over the course of the day, you cover, with your wagon being what it is, about 30 miles of distance as you venture deeper into the forest. Is there anything you wish to do en route, or are you just kind of hanging out?
Tuki's definitely walking the entire way. Since she's full of energy, she's doing knife tricks in one hand just to occupy herself, but she would like to take a moment to thank Minnove for putting her to sleep.
All right.
As long as you're not napping.
No, Minnove's awake. She might be strumming away at her instrument.
I really appreciate the spell. I don't want to rely on it, but that is the best I've ever slept in my life.
Minnove will give a smile and be like, well, I'm happy it helped. Seemed to always bug you that you couldn't rest, and glad it was able to give that to you. If you ever need it, it's always at your disposal.
don't think I have the adequate words to express just how much it actually means to me.
Minnove will smile and be like, I can assume. As long as I'm here, you have sleep as much as you want.
Like I said, I probably will try not to rely on it too much. I'm not sure when our paths will diverge.
Yeah, but might as well use it while it's here, right? Enjoy this little bit of peace.
Indeed.
How's the walk?
Feels great. I am less sore. My cheeks are starting to hurt from all the smiling, and yeah, just flips the knife a little bit. Just, I have more energy than I know what to do with, actually.
Well, that's exciting. I know, well, it makes me happy that you're happy. Genuinely. What you thing over there, Boron? Don't like this mushy-gushy stuff?
No, it's okay, but I got a couple of things in mind if you get too much energy. Like some weapon training, maybe.
Do you not think my skills are good enough, Boron?
Never hurts to have an edge.
As she's spinning a knife between her fingers.
Yeah,
Never
spinning knives don't really win fights.
Well, I will say that I do not want to end up on the other edge of Tuki's blade. Nor yours, but, you know, honestly, everyone here is kind of scary. Except
I'm
for
not
Kari.
worried, man. Do not worry, Minnove. You will never end up on the wrong side of my blade. For I have none.
That's comforting.
He has a hammer.
She's gonna smush me. Gonna crack me like an egg.
No, I do not cut people. I crush people. Big difference. Right, that's going out of context.
The only bleeding you will have is internal.
Oh, that's comforting. Very, thank you. I don't think I might have thick scales, but they're not that thick, not that dense.
Then we will work up scabs.
Oh God, Tuki. Boron! Donald!
I'm not even entirely sure what's happening right now. Why are you turning to me?
I don't want scabs.
Oh, don't get cut?
Thank you.
I don't know what other advice to give you. Scabs are just a consequence of getting cut.
Is this true?
Well, yes, but
Or burned.
all burned. But like, well, I don't have many scars on me, so I'd like to kind of keep it that way, you know? Like, scales don't look really nice scarred up.
Well, I can do what I can to keep you unmarred.
I'd very much appreciate that. I just like keeping my distance. I don't like getting close. The scariest closeness I've gotten was one of those goddamn raiders or merchants or whatever the fuck Jacka's group was.
I believe the proper term is asshole.
I mean, it's accurate.
Royal.
I'm not sure if it's the proper term.
Royal asshole. No, he's not royal.
No, not royal
That's the
asshole.
most
Royal
improper.
asshole. Those are kings.
Those are kings. Kings can be quite dicks, honestly.
Extortionists?
Extortionists. Perfectly worded there, Tuki. Beautiful word.
You want to stay at distance, maybe you should get like crossbow or something.
With your size, actually, maybe a sling would be a good idea.
A sling? What the hell is that supposed to mean?
Hey,
For throwing...
don't underestimate the power of a good sling. You can be damn accurate with those things, and if you hit someone in the head, you can basically knock them down in one blow.
Takes a lot of practice, though.
Might as well turn my frickin' horns into sling, put a rubber band between them. Just
That's a slingshot. That's a little different. A slingshot is basically a tiny crossbow. A sling relies on spinning centrifugal force before you yeet the rock. Or
See,
bullet,
I
or
don't know
whatever
what that
you're
word
using.
means, really, so...
Which word?
Centrifugal.
Huh.
It means, I think,
I'm being
actually, I'm not sure
sarcastic.
what it means.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure you know more words than the rest of us. Give that impression at the very least. On the ground, still hanging out in the bottom of the cart, not really sleeping at this point, just kind of enjoying lying down. As Kari like raises a finger. I know more words.
I would
It's just, I've
actually...
heard a lot of words.
I would actually agree with him on that. I believe he could outword me. I only can speak Common and Draconic, and that's all I can say. So if Kari can do more than that, then... Well, also Kari can just mimic words. Just normal... Yeah. No, Kari's got me beat. So does Tuki, technically, as well.
Oh, I have 4 languages.
Oh my god,
Actually,
what?
5.
Tuki?
I
What
speak
kind of
Danish.
languages do you... 3? Oh!
I am able to speak fluently in Common, Dwarvish, Raithari, Whistletongue, and there is a language that I picked up in my less scrupulous ways of obtaining food.
My god. That... Does anyone else speak more than 2 languages here? Or is it just me?
I also do know Common and Raithari, if that was not obvious why. But I also know Emerian.
Okay, mister. You know 3 languages. Donald, I'm assuming you know. You're kind of scholarly type.
Common and Valrivi.
That's a... What is that? I know I'm from Valrive, but like... How do you speak Valrivi?
I mean, I was born and raised here.
Well, I was too.
It's not necessarily the language used by the bulk of the population. The common tongue is basically used by the vast majority of people, no matter where in the world you are. It's only when you start getting up into like the higher circles of like nobility or what have you, or whatever, that the more regional specific cultural dialects are more carefully preserved. So here in Valry, for example, you start getting up into places like the nobility or what have you, you're more likely to find people speaking, Valrivi. You go over to Emira, same deal. You get into the noble courts over there, they're going to be speaking Emiran. Which basically are just sub-dialects of Common.
All right.
That's actually an interesting point. How many of you know why we all speak Common?
Well, I believe the word common makes it so that everyone it's the default that everybody learns.
I believe Jorna told me once it was because of a way of combining the most common dialects together. I believe it was.
I'll have anyone who wishes to participate in this make a history check, because there is actually an in-universe reason for why everyone shares a language. Alright, Ludviek has no idea. Tuki has no idea. Boron has no idea. Minnove, you know. The basic gist, Minnove, that you understand is that the common tongue, as it is currently used, is basically just an evolution of the old language spoken by the Orions.
All right.
Some 1,500 years ago, and for who knows how many centuries in the past before that, most of the modern races of mankind, as is understood today, lived under the boots of the Orions, were enslaved to them in some capacity, and for the sake of ease of communication, it just makes sense that those who are subservient to you over the generations would be taught to understand the language you speak. So all of the Orions' various subservients were taught their language. And because that was a globe-spanning empire before its mysterious collapse about 1,500 years ago, basically everyone spoke the same language. Now, while there was deviation during the centuries spent in the world below before everyone returned to the surface about 400, 500 years ago, but, and that's kind of where, like, the different sort of iteration, where Valrivi and Emiran come in. They're basically just sub-dialects of Common, but Common itself is just kind of the most commonly agreed upon to use version of the Old Orion language that everyone sort of retained. Only a handful of languages were kept alive during that period, that being Raithari, Whistletongue, and Lyradal.
So, TLDR, in all seriousness, it's based off of the Orion.
Yeah, the Orion.
The language
you kind of relay all that to the group.
Yeah.
I've been looking for an opportunity to share that lore morsel.
Ah, yes, that does make a lot more sense. No, I don't remember. That's what she said too. Yes. But it's still very tricky tongue, I have to say. So many double-meaning words.
Yeah, that's what happens when centuries go by with the original curators of the language not maintaining it.
What there am I saying?
I don't know.
Look, you can tell that this language is inherited and badly translated when you can say oxen 7 times and that is a functional sentence.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell it means, but I have been made to believe by people far more linguistically inclined than I that that is a grammatically correct sentence.
I was not aware of that.
We're just making fun of English right now. I love it.
Either or. What's coming up? Does anyone know? Can anyone see? Can I see if I can look up to see if anything's on its way that we're impending?
Sort of just following the road. You're just kind of in the middle of the forest at the moment. You're kind of going up a bit. You're sort of on like a bit of an upward slope in the terrain. Sort of a rise in the general region around where this river bends. So you imagine it'll start sloping back down soon enough so that it doesn't violate the principle of rivers flow downhill.
This walk is so long. Ugh. Forgot.
Well, it's a good thing that Butterscotch is the one doing most of the walking.
Good job, Butterscotch. Absolutely. I've walked this once and God, absolutely horrendous.
I think it's pretty...
Well, if you need to burn some energy, you could always challenge Tuki to a race.
I have little legs, Ludviek. Little legs.
Yes, but you can run on all fours.
Yes, but a short walk for you is a big journey for little me.
But you can run on all fours. Your body can actually accommodate that.
You think, yes, but, and it is true. It is very true. But, also, it's very unsanitary. Imagine eating with your hands as you walked. It's gross. Disgusting. I touch so much things. I do so much with my hands. Putting them on the ground just seems like I might as well just put them in manure. Have you ever walked into dog shit?
Yes.
Often.
No, have you ever walked into dog shit with it on your hand?
Yes.
Yes.
What the fuck?
When we were hunting the
You guys are
plains
far more
and-
comfortable sharing stories than I am. I'm going to tell you right now.
I understand Ludviek, because Ludviek can also go on all fours. But Boron?
Sometimes you have to crawl through difficult terrain.
Okay, I was about to say, it better not be some, like, weird sex thing or something.
No, of course not. It's mostly to hide your scent while you're tracking prey.
Ew. Disgusting. Please don't ever touch me ever again with your lay-on hands. I beg of you.
I wash them.
Do you lick them or do you wash them?
Your insinuations insult me.
This
But I wash
entire
them.
conversation is
Okay.
very gross. Can we change the subject?
Oh, right. Sorry,
It makes for
Donald.
very poor listening. That's not Donald talking. I'm having Kari say things
Oh, Kari.
so that we can remember he's here. Because Impulsive is in the Roll20 room. He's not in
Unable
the
to do stuff
Discord
right now,
yet.
probably. Listen, Kari, if you're so bent up about it, just go back to sleep, turn over, and just shut up. Turn off your ears. You can do that, right?
No. I can't do that.
Well, that's unfortunate for you, ain't it?
It very much is.
All of you need to not listen again. We could always mug you.
I'd rather you
Seems like- Well, you've had such a great history of it. Got some good sleep. Meh, you had a lighter load to carry.
I'm going to count sheep now.
And I was gonna sit back and be a little annoying and be like, "This is the song that never."
No, that's Donald.
For some reason, I also attained that song also to sheep. I don't know why.
Hey! Impulsive, hi!
Hello there. My name
Welcome.
is Impulsive.
We just
And
had your
there's
character
a big
complaining
game.
about hearing about stories about shit.
Yeah. I
But
did
us
do
walking and
I
shit.
did voice Kari a little bit. You didn't miss much. Basically all that's happened, the party trimmed some beards while Minnove went to gather up some things, so we had Kari just decide to just nap in the back of the wagon while everyone was doing that. The parasite in Butterscotch's hoof was removed. Then you all gathered up your supplies and started moving. I've moved the the party location marker to about where you are at the end of the day's travel. And on the road, we kind of just cut into just let everyone role play for a bit. And the conversation spiraled from the origination of the common tongue, as it is now, as a sort of a descendant of the old Orient language that everyone used to speak 1,500 years ago, to then whether or not Minnove could beat Tuki in a race on all fours, which she complained that she would rather not do that because she could get her hands in dog shit or something, and then asked, like, if everyone else is like at any point, have you ever had your hands in dog shit? To which two members of the party just straight up said, yes. What the fuck? That conversation went on for a bit, and then I had Kari say, can we please talk about something else? And then Ludviek joked that maybe he'd mug Kari if he was getting annoyed by the conversation. It was a very lighthearted joke. And then Minnove, just a second ago, started singing the song that never ends, and Donald stopped her. You are now all caught up.
Caught up in a situation. Nah, it's not a situation.
Yeah, the group is still just en route. I'm gonna be honest. I was just kind of letting them do their thing to buy time for you to get back before I got to the part I'm excited for.
Well, now that I'm fashionably late, and by
Wow.
fashionably late, I mean not fashionably late.
It's about an hour late. It's all good though. It's okay.
Yes.
It's on brand for you, regardless though. So, you may proceed with the conversation if y'all wish, or we could start moving ahead. I leave it to your discretion.
I'm for moving ahead.
All right.
I have nothing really to add.
Ludviek would just laugh at Donald's indignance at the song that never ends.
Minnove Minnove will huff and be like, fine.
And this song goes round and upside down,
Down and
tipsy-turvy,
nothing to learn.
because this song goes round and round.
So the next few hours are excruciating.
Why would you do this to me?
as-
Robin, I remember everything.
Tuki was like, oh my god, Minnove, thank you so much for letting me have a good night's sleep. Why?
Why would you do this? So,
Oh yeah,
But-
sorry, Impulsive. One last thing. Tuki actually got a good night's sleep, so she actually has more energy now.
yeah, the sleep spell Minnove used on her last night did wonders.
Oh my gosh, we just have to almost force Tuki to sleep against your will. I got it.
She consented. Anyways, so moving on then. Let me just change the ambience out a bit here. So, as the day turns and nears its end, the sun gradually slipping beneath the horizon, a little bit of mist, just a subtle gray haze, gradually begins to creep in. A handful of clouds darken the skies, sort of obscuring the otherwise navigable ring light. But you had seen just a minute ago a sign pointing to another one of those houses of respite that the followers of Valn set up at regular intervals. And Donald suggests it might just be a good idea to just push ahead the next few minutes to get there in good time. Better to arrive slightly later to a place with beds than go to bed on the ground and then find it 10 minutes later the following morning, right?
Sounds like a good idea. I got a question though.
Shoot.
I've been on this road quite a few times.
Yeah, you've run the circuit several times.
Just you said this road is usually well patrolled.
Yeah.
Are the patrols present in their usual amounts?
I'd say you've passed by at least one squad as you've been making the trip today. Like a team of maybe like 2 or 3, guardsmen on horseback just kind of cantering by. Like, it's well patrolled, but it doesn't mean like it's necessarily like thick with guards. It's just they'd make regular enough rounds that it dissuades active threats from getting too close to the well-paved walkway.
I see.
Yeah, so it's like every day, maybe 2 team of soldiers passes through. Usually one on either side. They sort of cross each other in the middle, so it's well patrolled, but not to the point of being like disruptive or an obstacle to a crowd.
Makes complete sense. Yeah. Okay.
So
That's all I wanted to know.
indeed. So proceeding ahead, you find yourself sort of coming up over, finally, the sort of very gradual incline over the terrain that you've been following for the last few hours since you got up this morning starts to level out. The road turns, bends around, starts following a slope down. And as you're descending that paved path, that gentle mist gets a little thicker. A little more dense. Not so much as to obscure your ability to navigate or see necessarily where you are going, but certainly enough to be noticeable. There are little fingers of fog occasionally creeping across the road, sort of weaving vaguely ominously between the branches of nearby trees. There are a handful of rocky spires just kind of jutting up out of the ground nearby like sore thumbs, their bases obscured by evergreens. It's rather dense in this part of the forest, save for the path you are following, wide and well paved. As you are rounding the bend, however, Butterscotch abruptly comes to a stop as you all have line of sight just up ahead, I'd say maybe 60 feet up the road from you, sort of just in a line. It's hard to make out in this low light and through the mist, but it looks like just a line of 5 people wearing hooded cloaks, maybe? That are slowly approaching your group.
Well, that's not suspicious at all.
No, it's not. What is...
Could I see if I, like, sense anything on them, I guess? Like, with my good eyes and my good nose? Like, anything of danger?
You can make perception or insight if you wish.
Perception or insight? Do I have a better at any of them? Insight. Oh, they're the same, so it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna cast guidance on myself as well, so I'm gonna get a D4 on this.
All right.
We'll do insight.
Insight.
And then I'm gonna do /R1D4.
Total of 10. Like, you have really good night vision. Like, you have really good dark vision. You can see in the dark, and you have a good sense of smell. You get this sort of earthy scent, sort of carried on the air by this sort of bending wall of people. These 5 hooded figures sort of just moving out onto the road in front of you, like they've been digging in dirt, perhaps, or just you just commonly spend time in it. And
I can see well in the dark as well. Should I be rolling as well?
You can.
I think I'll do the opposite end.
Oh,
That is 2 natural ones.
I was about to guidance that, but I'm like, you know what? No, it's.
Ludviek, you
Can't see
are in the back of the wagon. You can't see shit.
Take a picture of that. Call it a day. That's the session right there, guys. This is great.
Right, so...
Tuki's going to step off the road and just get into stealth.
All right, give me a stealth check.
Where is it? There it is.
17. You feel pretty confident as you kind of duck to the side and hide yourself beside a tree. As the 5 figures are sort of getting a little closer, Butterscotch looking just a little apprehensive. I would like... Ludviek, I would like you to roll me a d5, please.
Sure.
D5.
Huh?
4. As these 5 figures are just slowly walking toward you, starting to become a little bit more defined through the night and the fog, the second one from the right tilts forward slightly, a little to the left, and for just this brief moment you think, is he about to charge? Until they just fall over. The others all stop, look down at him. Gets back up. You hear some like frantic sort of whispering amongst them, like, "Don't ruin this first. No, I'm fine. Just keep going." And the tension is sort of immediately leaving you as they resume walking toward you. The one in the middle sort of stepping forward. Sort of a casts a glance at his buddy behind him, then turns back to the rest of you. Just sort of holds his hands up a bit, and as they're getting closer, you can see a little bit more clearly. You can all make perception checks if you want.
Yay.
I can make an additional one, or is my previous one still standing?
You can make one, but you are in the back of the wagon, so you can roll it with disadvantage.
Okay, I've cleared my eyes.
Okay.
I've brushed this
All
thing
right.
from my eyes.
All right, so, basically, everyone except Boron gets it. Boron, I think you're just too tired to care. The rest of you, you note that as this lead figure who sort of has like this air of importance is stepping forward, sort of holding his hands up as if to address a crowd, you note that there's something sort of strange about the way his cloak is clinging to him, something odd about the way his hood is sort of wrapped around his head. And the figure in the front says, "Travelers from the road, we bid you welcome. We, pardon me, we bring great tidings. We have uncovered a secret buried in the earth. Great Shrimvasa." And one of the ones behind him says, "I thought it was Shrimvasa. Shrimvasa, shut up. Shut up, Doyle. It's Dristog. No, shut up. Shrimvasa, the great, a being of magnificent origins beneath the earth. We would ask a simple thing of you to bring this entity forth."
Could I cast Mage
You
Hand
what?
and try ripping the cloak off him?
Sure. You...
He's within 30 feet.
Give me a second here. Because I put in far more effort into this than I realistically should have. So if we're gonna be doing anything like that, y'all should probably have a visual.
Oh, cool. Hey, Donald's actually got some health for once.
Good job, Donald. You upgraded.
Unbelievable.
He has 8 hit points.
You've upgraded.
He has 8 hit points. Apparently,
Wait,
y'all
that's-
can't see that, so I will make that visible to everyone.
Oh, I was reading Kari's. Okay, that's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, Donald's got more HP than me.
No, it's, so yeah, no, nothing of the sort. So Mage Hand, to rip the cloak off, go ahead and make for me. Make a sleight of hand check. Because of the imprecision that comes with magic for something like this, Minnove, I would like you to do so at disadvantage.
Could I still cast a guidance on myself? Or would
Oh,
that yeah, never mind. It wouldn't. Yeah.
It's
it wouldn't-
like guidance is concentration. Is Mage Hand concentration? I'm not seeing
Yeah,
the
it
spell
is.
card.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is.
All right.
I believe it is.
All right. Go ahead and roll it then.
If not, either way, it's. I'm casting. I wouldn't be able to cast 2 spells at once.
14. All right. Let's see here. He rolled an 8. So, as you send out your Mage Hand, you grabble onto the cloak and rip it off, and he's like, "What? Hey!" And as it's sort of coming away, you see that it's just a square shape. It's just a square cloth. That's a blanket.
What? You couldn't even afford a cloak.
The revelations came to us recently. Give that back, and he's gonna like reach out for it. Let's see here. He is.
Minove's gonna try him.
He's going to fall over.
Minove's gonna to play like a what's it called, like the keep away kind of thing, like
Yeah.
too far to reach.
It sort of falls over. Oh,
You want to try that again?
yes. He starts like picking himself back up. And one of his buddies in the back is like, "Vingus, are you okay?" "It's Brother Veracitar to you, imbecile!" "Oh, right."
Fingus.
I'd like to see if I can tell if he's okay. Can I do like a medicine check on him? 'Cause
Make a medicine
he fell down.
check. Make a medicine
I
check.
feel like
I mean, at this distance, it's hard to tell, but like, now that you sort of had a good look at them for a bit, they're definitely not, well, they don't seem to have their balance about them. I mean, one of them fell over just coming over to say hi, and, you know, the guy in front just fell over trying to go after the cloak, so you're not exactly sure. But
Oh yeah, and
they don't seem to be totally okay at the moment.
And Ludviek would say, "Is this like, oh, you're right there, Flint. You seem to have taken a tumble.
I
You don't
am fine. Shrimvasa provides, oh, it's spinning." His buddies comes over, helps him back up. Easy, just... Hey. Look, and Veracitar, as he seems insistent on going by, sort of turns back to the rest of you and like holds his hands up again. Look, just trying to resurrect a dead god here, all right? We weren't exactly given an instruction manual on this stuff.
can I do insight?
Are they all right?
Boron would like to stand up. Guys, stay the fuck away from us.
Make an intimidation
Far
check and do
away.
so with advantage.
Oh man, intimidation with
Advantage.
-2. Hooray.
But with advantage.
Also, I looked it up quickly. Mage Hand is actually not concentration.
Oh.
But
cool.
but still, I would be casting 2 spells at once, and I would be
Indeed.
able to do that.
So, so intimidation of 16. There's this beat as the 5 are just kind of looking at your group, and like you can kind of just sort of see it in their eyes as they're sort of processing that there is. You are very heavily armed, and they are not.
We don't want you any harm. Just go to the side and let us pass. Thank you.
One sort of on the far right just sort of shuffles up to his buddy. He's like, what do we do? Do we... All right.
I wouldn't risk it.
It's like he just sort of calls over, all right, and like Vracitar's like, what are you doing? I'm not getting anything from them. Look at them. They got a horse. So? We don't have a fucking horse. You are pathetic. You're the one who lost his blankie. Good.
Would my perception mean I'm able to overhear this?
Oh, you can all hear this. They think they're being subtle.
Okay.
They are not. They are absolutely not.
Did you say take things from us?
We... Veracitar sort of clears his throat, sort of hits himself in the chest a few times as if to, like, get his intimidating voice back. We had, for the purposes of the resurrection of Shrimvasa, we had intended to ask for a small donation of the wine of life. He's talking about blood. Shut up, Michael! It's Mirakyle!
Listen, Iggy, listen. One person who is scammed to another, you're not doing a great job, bud. Absolutely not.
Can Ludviek
I've seen
shuffle
some
up next to Boron?
pathetic bandits before, but you guys take the absolute cake.
You guys are cute, very cute, adorable even. If I could put you in my pocket, I will.
Sounds warm. Is that something you can do? No, don't be daft.
I have heard of many gods, but I've not heard of this Shrimvasa vial thingamajig.
Shrimvasa.
Is that
Shrimvasa.
with the row?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Shrimvasa. Ah. And I have not heard of this god. Why would you believe you found some dead god?
Because, and like, sort of like, feeling emboldened that you're taking an interest in his weird bullshit, Vresatar kind of takes a little step forward, a little to the side as he kind of stumbles a bit. Shrimvasa came to us in a vision, a dream as we slept, spoke to us, left us a sign, a stain of red upon the floor of our respite. Wait a minute. He sort of turns back to his buddies. Where were we supposed to leave the offering again? I thought you knew. No. It's a dead god. He's not exactly specific.
So you had a vision that something wanted you to leave a blood offering, and you think it's a good idea.
What else are you supposed to do when a previously unknown god decides to start talking to you? Plug a thumb up your ass and pretend you didn't hear it? No!
Do you
Usually
hear out of your asshole?
What?
Well, plug a thumb up his ass and not hear. Does he hear out of his asshole? Does your sphincter have eardrum or sphincterdrum?
It means just sitting on your thumbs. It means doing nothing.
Oh, fascinating. And the mage hand drops the blanket.
Sort of falls right over his head. He falls over again. This guy sort of comes over. Vingus, you alright? Off me, Lambert!
Usually when one hears claims of dead god, usually you go for one who is a knight of Juna in that regard.
They just accuse us of heresy, and then where'd we end up, eh?
These guys are pretty funny. I didn't know there were clowns out on the road.
We're
I
not
think there might be something
clowns!
going on. I think they might be drunk.
Something like that.
They're not very funny clowns.
Could
I
I?
don't know. I'm gonna get a hoot.
Could I take a now that I moved up closer to the cart, and now that they're closer, could I try and see if they're drunk or inebriated in some way or whatnot?
Go ahead and make another medicine check. I'll let you have it at advantage because these are not subtle people.
I will.
27,
put
natural
guidance-
20.
Oh, never mind.
So, you know symptoms of being drunk. You're not seeing those here. Being drunk typically means a lot of slurred speech, failure to grasp concepts. This is different. Their speech isn't slurred. It's silly, but like they're able to enunciate. Their lack of balance and the bizarre way in which they're sort of conducting themselves, however, does tell you that there's some sort of substance possibly involved here.
Oh my god.
Right.
Can I make a medicine check?
You may. What are you looking for?
Are they suffering from blood loss?
Roll it.
I don't know.
I mean, if they're suffering from blood loss, they've stopped the bleeding at least.
Can I see if they're high?
You can make a medicine check.
We're all just trying to play doctor right now.
I'm trying to figure
out
out
what the
just trying
fuck
to figure
they're
out
doing.
what the fuck is wrong with these
I'm
people.
gonna put guidance on this too.
Okay.
Or maybe I don't have to.
On today's episode of House.
19 total. Do you want to get any closer, or are you just kind of trying to deduce it from a distance?
Minnove's gonna hop off the wagon. She feels like she could take them on. She's gonna walk like a little bit closer, like probably like parallel. So she's probably gonna like walk down here and then go all the way up here
All right.
next to Butterscotch,
Okay.
kind of like standing still and looking at them, maybe sniffing a little bit. Who knows? She's just
Alright.
trying to figure out what the heck is going on.
Yep. With that medicine check and sniffing at the air a few times, is there like just sort of a scrambling to get Father Veresatar out from under his blankie? You kind of sniff at the air a few times, and you kind of just pick up the faintest whiffs of that earthy smell you had picked up earlier resolves into something a little bit more pungent. A little bit more intense, herbal, fungal.
Oh my god. They're fucking high.
What do you mean? They're on the ground.
Well, they are parallel to the ground, yes, but I smelt it earlier, but she's gonna walk closer to them. She's gonna be like right in their face right now.
Wait a second. Boron is handing the reins to Donald and is jumping behind her with shield. Get out of the way now.
They're just high.
That doesn't concern me. Get out of the way.
They
Listen.
sort of start scrambling off to the side.
Listen, I've seen him smash a man into mush. Probably for the best.
No, he's not. So they start sort of scattering off to the side as the big scary guy with the axe threatens them.
Right.
I'd like
Okay,
Ludviek to jump up next to Boron and say, Boron, there is the off chance that, well, they may be high. There also could be something to this. I mean, would you really want to take the chance of a bunch of... If they do expect... I mean, they're asking for a blood sacrifice. There could be trouble behind this.
Look at these guys. You think they can hold a fucking blade?
Veracitar is currently trying to... Veracitar is trying to get his blanket back under his umbrella, cloak, and hood.
He can barely hold his own blanket.
It's not our problem. We are not getting paid for this.
Pay. Money. Geld.
Ludviek looks at the one who's not the one who's closer to the one who's not struggling with his blanket and says, "How far is your village from here?"
Which one was that? Ping them, please.
This one, the one who's not father, the one because father you said is still struggling with his blanket, right?
Yeah. That one kind of blinks a couple times. We're from Asmara. Don't tell them our homes, Lambert. I thought it was Lamloth. That's a chat about the fucking blanket. It's at the back.
If you're from Asmara, what are you doing all the way out here? You obviously weren't looking for a dead god.
No, we were traveling to have a big family reunion with some friends in Anterine and... That's...
Can I?
And he just throws the blanket off to one side.
Can I see if I recognize him at all? Because he said he's from Anterine or has family in Anterine.
He's from Asmara and is going to Anterine. I can tell you right now, you do not know this man. You have never met.
Dang. Sad. Well, have fun on your journey to Anterine.
We are not donating any blood. Thank you.
Oh.
Actually, the question comes: if you needed blood sacrifice, why not just use your own?
I think
There's a beat. Why don't we think of that? Because knives hurt, you dummy! Oh, right. Gonna level with you, boss. I haven't really felt anything for the past hour. Is that why you fell over? Yeah?
On the off chance, did you ingest something?
We ate of Shrumvasa's flesh, and he bestowed us woe goods, and Veracitar falls over again.
I could probably sniff it out if you'd want me to. She looks at Ludviek. I could probably find it.
You probably
I have the sneaking suspicion, Boron, as much as this is not much of our deal, if travelers were... Well, if there was some substance that is causing this, it might be good to investigate. It could hurt other travelers along the path. I mean,
Honestly,
to which that he says louder so to the cultists. I mean, others might find this Rumvasa, and we should make sure everything is okay.
Make a persuasion check with advantage.
Can I guidance this?
You may.
Oh, I don't even have to.
You don't have to, but you can. 23.
Okay, sure. Sure. You know what? Let's see what that guidance does. Dang it.
27. With the idea being that you're trying to find these mushrooms.
Yes.
All right. So
Mostly to be sure there's nothing terrible going on here.
So you kind of turn to the others, to the cultists in quotes, and you say that, and they kind of look among themselves for a second, and Veracitar just, we ate them all already.
No.
I'd like to go up to Father Veracitar. All right. I just say, you ate them all, eh? I would like to, as much as every medicine thing I know about fungal infections and everything that could happen this, do I recognize whatever type of thing they're under? Like, could this be a funny herb I've heard of before?
Roll nature.
Roll nature. All right. And I'll take the guidance if you're going to give it.
Yeah, I'll give guidance.
All right.
And I would like to judge if this kind of language, is this something undercommon-like?
You mean Shumvasa?
Shumvasa, whatever, yeah.
If you want to see if you can determine its linguistic origin, you can make an intelligence check.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but as for that nature check, mushrooms weren't necessarily your forte back out in the plains, Ludviek. You know that there are some forms of fungus that, if ingested, can have powerful hallucinogenic properties. Wow.
I have no idea.
That is that goose has laid twins. Holy shit.
Those are some snake eyes.
I did not roll a natural one. I would just like to say.
No, but you did roll zeros. That is a pair of eyes looking at you with clenched teeth and a tall nose. That is just straight up what that is. That's like the cleaning bots from Security Breach.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, it could be any number of things. It probably just they're high. They had some kind of hallucination, and then they just started rolling with it, and they haven't stopped.
Well,
yeah. To which then to Father. Okay, first Minnove, go first.
Well, I was more or less gonna say, I think we've stayed our welcome and bugged these gentlemen enough.
True, but it would be very untoward of us to leave such men inebriated without at least helping a little. Ludviek rolls his eyes and does 5 points to cure whatever disease or poison is currently affecting Father I can't read his name.
Iggy.
Veracitar.
Whatever. He's just gonna be like, he is like, Suna will cleanse you.
All right, so you put a hand on him, utter a few words, and after a few seconds, the sort of, you hadn't really noticed it before, but as it leaves his eyes, the sort of red haze that had kind of been creeping in around the corners of his eyes, it sort of withdraws. He blinks at you a few times. Oh my gods. As his face starts turning this deep shade of red. Oh my god. I am so sorry.
That wouldn't be Velociraptor that you're speaking of, would it?
I am so sorry. Oh my god, this is so embarrassing. He just grabs his hair and just curls into a ball on the ground, fully sobered now and very distraught.
Right.
His buddy next to him was like, Vingus, are you alright? No, I'm not. We almost attacked random people. They would have killed us. Oh, gods. Never, ever, ever, never, ever let me forage for food again. Apparently, I'm full of shit and don't know shit. Gods. Oh, this is... he's just walking in circles, just kind of patting himself down
Vingus, was it?
Vingus, yes. What do you need? I'm sorry.
If you're going to forage for anything, stop foraging for mushrooms. The next ones you eat could melt your liver.
I know that mushrooms are extremely dangerous. I thought I knew what was safe to eat. I've done this kind of shit before. Apparently I made a mistake, alright? I made a mistake. I fucked up. Whatever you just did to me, can you do it to them too? Because he kind of looks over and you see that one of his friends is just kind of looking distantly and absent, like all thought has vacated this man's mind as he's just looking at a butter knife in his hand.
Yeah, I'd say, which one of your friends ate what you say the most?
Any of them?
Unfortunately, I can only help a couple.
Maybe help Lambert and Michael here. He sort of pats the one who's looking at the knife and he drops the butter knife. What?
Ludviek sighs, but he says, well, to heal the sick, especially if sick of mind. He goes up to them and then just pats him and then doesn't say anything other than just unfortunately for your last two friends, I think you're going to have to keep an eye on them tonight.
Alright.
To which then, jeez. He turns back to, Vingus and says, it was fuck, what was I gonna say? I was yes. There is a way house not too far from here, I believe.
Yeah, it's where we were staying.
That's
Well then.
Yeah, it's right around the bend.
Well then, I'd say all of us have been up far too late.
Yeah.
Hold on, you want to help me with the remainder? We have to make sure they get back safely. Mick?
What?
Well, Ludviek was just asking Boron if he'd help him escort the two remaining unsober, shroomed out of their mind idiots back to the way house, so they don't do anything stupid.
We'll do that. That sounds like a good idea. I'll pack away my shields and take each one in a hand and guide them gently.
All right. As you're kind of guiding them back to the way house, one of them's just Excelsior, and then just slumps in your hand, passes out, just full on. Oh. All right.
I'll take him under my arm then.
So, fun fact about this map: it was not originally intended for this goofy encounter. I had 8 different encounter ideas come and go that I wanted to put on this map, but none of them felt right. And then a buddy of mine who goes by the name Knock, or Joey McKen, composer friend of mine, actually suggested the basics of this encounter to me. And I adapted it to work here. So I hope you all enjoyed that, and I hope that broke it up enough for you.
Very funny.
That was
very humorous.
All right. Yeah.
Or on how to deal with cultists.
Yeah. So, and I am just, I'm just gonna can I show the character sheet to everyone so that you can all see it? No, I cannot. I cannot share like the character sheet information. That is. Let me try that again. There we go. So now you can look at their funny haha character sheet.
This is clearly a knife used for spreading butter.
Trip. The cultist falls prone. All right. So, sort of guiding the shroom-addled gentleman back to the way house. You sort of step in. Donald sort of brings the horse around to sort of just get her out in front. Let me see here. There's the button. There we go. So, as step inside, feel the warmth. Like the hearth is still burning at the moment, as you're sort of stepping inside the way house. And Vingus is just like, you see like a couple of backpacks sort of pressed up against the wall. Seems like it's just their supplies. And Vingus is just sort of awkwardly rubbing the back of his head. You can see like on the central table there's some unfinished bowls of stew, and like the cauldron in the fireplace that might have been cooking the food looks a little askew, as if like they kind of just abandoned it in the middle of what they were doing.
Minnove's gonna turn over to like Kari and Tuki and be like, should I eat that? Just like a little taste. I'm curious.
Ludviek just hears this with ears and just like, you will suffer the
No.
consequences of your actions.
I suffer anyways.
No.
You're no fun. Tuki?
Personal experience makes it difficult to say yes to anything that addles any part of me.
Fair. I guess I don't know how it is in the morning. Last thing I want in another water situation.
Might I be able to, now that we're near the stew that caused it, might I be able to pick out what specifically caused this? He said it was a mushroom.
Yeah.
Might there be some they still had left over?
Yeah, like again, looks like they kind of stopped eating in the middle of it, probably because it started hitting their system and they passed out. You do also notice, you do see what appears to be like a sort of a dark, sort of almost pinkish red stain right in front of the hearth, as if something like just spilled from the side of the table. And go figure, there's a wine bottle there.
Oh, so they were crossfading.
And so Vingus
Spill
just,
the wine of the earth.
Yeah, Vingus is rubbing the back of his head, still blushing furiously. Yeah, we had supplies, and then we didn't. Because
I see.
We had a horse with a wagon full of enough food for the trip and just stuff for the people we're meeting in Anterine, and the horse bolted, took all our stuff with it, and we couldn't find her.
Oh, well.
It wasn't on the
How
road.
far?
What was that?
It wasn't on the road in our direction.
Oh no, bolted off the road, ran off into the woods.
With the cart?
Yeah, this is like a little flat patch, and I mean, it wasn't going to keep running in the direction we were going, because, that's the direction of the sucker that scared it.
How long ago was this?
A couple hours ago. Well, a couple hours before we showed up here, at any rate. Like, sun was still up.
These guys can't see in the dark.
Well,
But I can.
What was it
could
that
try and
scared
find
your horse? Do you know? Oh, I know. And this is like Doyle speaking of. Kind of looked like you, actually. And he's pointing at you, Minnove.
me?
Yeah, kind of, but yellow.
Yeah,
Oh shit.
Yeah, yellow scale.
yellow.
Boron, what does that mean?
Trouble.
If anyone who wants to...
What the hell do you mean by trouble?
Trouble.
Anyone who wants to can make a history check to see what they know about yellow scales generally.
Would I be able to make one at advantage?
Sure, you would receive this information. You would know this information fairly well. All right. Ludviek has nothing. Tuki, not much. Kari, a bit. Minnove, a fair bit. Let's see here. Is Boron going to roll anything on this?
Yeah, probably terrible.
10.
It could have been worse.
So Ludviek and Tuki know very little. Kari and Boron, what you two basically know is that yellow scale kobolds are typically native to the Jethican jungle, which is the largest jungle in the known world and occupies a very large, basically the entirety of the borders of the nation of Orovir, which is sort of way down south. And is notably the only nation in the world that has a majority Kraven population, at least known on this continent. But that's about all you two know. Minnove, you'll know a little bit more thanks to your more in-depth education about koboldic lore in general. Yellow scales are generally considered to be one of the friendlier breeds of kobold. They generally, they're territorial. If you invade in their space, they'll generally become hostile and attack to drive you out. But generally speaking, they're seen as you can reason with them, you can trade with them. They generally speaking are seen as weird, maybe somewhat grumpy neighbors within the borders of Orovir to the people who live there. So, there's generally good relations with the yellow scales, at least with the Oroviri. But for a yellow scale to be this far north?
Yeah.
You don't know.
Minnove's gonna look at them and be like, so, where, how far have you been traveling without your horse?
I don't know. I want to say, we weren't moving very fast without a foot. Last 2 hours. I'm trying to find actual travel speed information so I could guesstimate this.
No worries, all good. Well, while you think about that,
we're not necessarily good at exact distances. Couple of miles? Well, not couple miles. Couple of hours. So I don't know, maybe 6-8 miles up the road.
Yeah.
We tried to find her, but. Look at us, and he sort of gestures at himself. We didn't bring weapons or anything of the sort because these roads are supposed to be safe. We traveled light so we'd make good time. All our shit was in the wagon. We weren't expecting a bloody yellow scale to show up and spook off all our stuff.
My next question. Do you have any pouches or anything on your person?
I've got some pockets in my trousers.
All right. Tuki.
Yes?
Could you be sweet and give them some of the berries that I found this morning? They're going to need some food for their long journey to Anterine.
If you want, I'm pretty quick. I can... 6 to 8 miles is nothing to me, really.
As well as me. Tuki, what do you say up for a midnight stroll?
Well, I'd like to also come, if possible.
All right. Well then, if we need to be speedy, Ludviek picks up Minnove and puts him on his shoulders. We need to move quick.
She grabs like lightly, not pulling, but she holds almost like a little kid holds onto their dad's hair to to stable themselves. And her tail lightly wraps around one of his not his what she can grab on his person.
Yeah. All right, that is adorable.
Boron, do you wish to come with, or would you like to stay and guard here?
I don't like leaving the horse and Donald behind, and these guys might need a little looking after. And I'm not exactly the best when it comes to kobold diplomacy.
Well,
Yeah.
you are the best at defense, though.
All right.
But we'll be back very soon, I assume.
Kari, are you wanting to come or do you want to stay and keep them entertained?
Kari's gonna look at the group, then look at the new group, and then look at the group.
Just
And go,
Well, when your options are a band of hippies or waltzing into potential danger.
hippies or danger,
Oh,
which is more degrading?
I will take the danger.
All right. So, Tuki, Ludviek, Minnove, and Kari heading off to look for a horse.
Before we leave, I'd ask, dang it, V, what's his name?
Vingus.
Vingus, what direction from the road, east or west, did the horse go?
She ran off west.
All right. Then look on the west side for anything involving tracks. Let us go.
Hey, don't be gone too
Don't
long
kill
now,
him.
you lot. And that's Donald sort of reminding all, like, don't be gone too long now, right?
Do not worry, Donald. If it is horse and buggy, it will be cut down very easily.
Don't kill him, Boron!
I'll try my best.
Right. So, in that case, moving at a fast pace as you head out into the woods at night to travel the 6 to 8 miles that was estimated would take approximately 2 hours.
Very hilly
So-
around here.
No, that's just the travel pace.
Oh.
So, because again, like, that's several miles, and I'm assuming you're not sprinting the whole distance. You'll hurt yourselves.
No. Yeah, jogging. Yes.
Yeah. So,
Would I also be able to sniff around to see if, like, that helps
sure.
guide us?
Sure.
I mean, she is literally just being she's the passenger right now.
I'm a passenger princess.
Sure. So go ahead and just make for me, I guess, just a perception check with advantage, Minnove, because you're using your sense of smell. 16.
And I
All
like
right.
to guidance that if possible.
Can you guidance yourself?
Sure.
I believe, yeah, I can.
Okay. Go for it then, I guess. All right. Dirty 20 total.
I'll double check that though.
All right. So, traveling a little further up the road over the course of the next couple hours, gradually that conveniently timed ominous mist begins to dispel and disperse, sort of withdrawing back into the foliage of the forest. The cloud cover overhead that's partially obscuring the ring light, that persists. But at least half of the people present here have good vision in the dark, so you're good. Following the road, eventually, you start to estimate that you've probably traveled far enough to sort of be in the general ballpark and start to slow your pace and start scanning your eyes about for any sign of things as the slope down finishes and begins to level off. I would like you all to, not Minnove, you've already rolled it, but everyone in this search to make for me perception checks to see what you notice. All right, 15 from Ludviek, 13 from Tuki. Kari, what do you got?
What I got here is the roll of all rolls.
A 12.
A 12.
That is the roll of all rolls, apparently.
The medium.
Whatever that says is, So, that says something, but I'm not going to guess what. But I digress. So, I'll give it to Ludviek. As you eventually sort of slow down your pace, eventually you do find a spot where you see, like there is like sort of a thin layer of like very subtle like dirt sort of over these flagstones, just the natural process. And you see like sort of a little bit more recently as you're sort of coming around a small little bend in the road, just a point where the tracks of like a couple of pair of wheels suddenly, like you meet it as it veers off sharply to the left, while the regular sort of divots in the dirt created by the wheels continues further off into the north. You are in a fairly flat area. There's a brief little gap in the forestation where you are, and sort of following your eyes left toward the west, you see that just by chance, pockmarked with rocks and bits of shrubbery, there is a clearer stretch where a cornered horse might feel safe enough to run off in that direction, at least some distance. You don't see any sign of the horse right now, though.
You see that? Points to the group. Looks like the tracks, the wheels go off and down and right there. And he points at the gap in the woodland. Minnove, do you smell horse?
With your 20 perception, Minnove, yes, you pick up the familiar smell of horse, but it is not butterscotch. You believe you found the scent of your quarry.
Well, I can tell you it's not butterscotch. But yes, I do.
Excellent! Then let us keep our eyes open, just in case there is another kobold hiding around here.
Can I try sniffing specifically for the kobold?
You can try. Make a survival check, because now, like, you're like... Well, no, it would be perception again, because you're just trying to pick out the scent.
Mm-hmm.
Survival would be tracking it. Perception is detecting it. It's your sense of smell, so you get advantage. Roll it. 20, not natural. It's a little hard to make out. The smell of horse is a very strong smell to your senses, and of course there's also the smell of Vingus and his entourage. Not shroom-addled at this point in their journey, but still, and just with the general cacophony of different aromas and scents that fill a forest, it's hard to pick out anything concrete, but you do pick out a little something. It smells vaguely salty, a little minerally almost. Like as if it belonged to a creature that spent a lot of time around stone and metal.
Minnove's gonna try and hop off of Ludviek's shoulders as gently as she can without hurting herself.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that long of a drop. Easy enough. Remember, pale ring kobolds are noticeably larger than typical D&D kobolds. Like, you're about at like an eye level with dwarves, so.
Heck yeah. And she's going to kind of follow that scent.
All right.
As Ludviek and the group kind of know where the horse is.
All right, you have managed to detect the scent, but actively tracking it will be a little bit more tricky. This is where the survival roll comes in.
All right, I'm going to do survival. I'm also going to do guidance on myself. And I did look it up. I can. And then I'm going to do /RD4. So that's right. 22.
22. Nice. Sniffing at the air a few times, it is a faint scent. But you do get it after a bit. And it seems to... The older portion of it, where it came from, sort of jumps out of the forest from the west, but from a little further back from where you stand now. And then, after the swerve, it kind of darts sharply after the smell of the horse. The two smells mingle.
Oh, God. Minnove's gonna...
Is it Minnove?
Just start rushing towards the horse.
All right. So, Others are following, I assume?
Yeah,
Yes.
Tuki's keeping pace.
All right, so with Minnove's...
Minnove is on fours, too.
Yep, all right. Yep, 20-minute warning, by the way. With Minnove's powerful nose leading the charge, she gets down on all fours like a bloodhound, leads the way, sort of ducking under root and over root and just sort of weaving between bushes. The brief clearing that the horse would have used to sort of scamper off doesn't last for long, and the terrain gets thicker very quickly. But it seems that the horse had entered a panicked state at this point, with a creature on its tail that you presume must have gotten into the cart. But the horse was not fond of that. Although, that's the only thing you can think of for why the kobold might have been able to keep pace. Kobolds are twitchy, but they don't have the travel pace of a horse. Especially not one that's powerful enough to lug around a wagon full of supplies. Sort of picking your way through the shrubbery and the underbrush for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Eventually, your pace gets slowed somewhat by the increasingly dense foliage before eventually you sort of slide almost to a stop as you find sort of a point where the terrain suddenly cuts off, sort of a sharp ledge that drops sharply down, and you smell it before you see it. You pick out the coppery metallic taste of blood and the beginnings of decomposition. And as you kind of slide to a stop and look down this ledge, you see maybe 15 feet down, sort of speared on some rocks that were sort of jutting up from the ground, looks like the beginnings of a shallow cave, maybe, the horse.
Minnove's gonna look down respectfully, as it's like a gruesome sight to see. And she's going to jump down. If everyone else jumps down with her, she's gonna cast Featherfall.
All right. What are the rest of you doing, by the way? Minnove's taken the lead here very much, but you all can still add onto it.
I assume the cart also went down with the horse.
You see the cart, or what's left of it at least. It looks like it was very much sort of dashed against the very same rocks in the fall. So bits of it has sort of shattered and broken off. It wasn't necessarily a super sturdy cart. It was just common for basic traveling purposes. A rough fall like this was onto such a harsh surface, a bit more than it could bear. You do see a handful of what appear to be bags of supplies of some description, but for a journey for 5 people from Asmara to Anterine, not as much as you might expect.
Looted? Most likely.
Yes. If it was.
I would have jumped off with Minnove.
All right.
Yeah, Ludviek comes down as well. Yeah, he would look to see, after seeing the supplies missing and Tuki's comment, he would look to see if he can spot any sign of that kobold that might have been mentioned.
Go ahead and make for me if you're trying to find, I would say survival if you're trying to find tracks or signs of the kobold's passage.
Yeah,
I'd like to bardic this.
Okay, go for it.
All right. Okay. And what does bardic do again?
D6, and I'd also guidance it, so D6 plus a D4.
Oh, you can do that? Okay, sure.
Apparently.
All right. Then we'll just do D4 and D6. Ouch.
Total of 12. Looking around, the forest is pretty thick here. Whatever signs the kobold might have left in his passage, he either covered his tracks really well, or they blend in really well naturally with the environment. You see no sign of his passage.
I cannot find any possible signs, but the kobold is not here. Minnove, by chance you see anything else?
Minnove's gonna try and sniff first.
Might be hard with all the blood, but yeah.
Yeah. You'll lose your advantage on your perception because of the proximity to the dead body. It's kind of overwhelming. 10.
No.
Nope. You can kind of just barely make out faint hints of the kobold smell mingling with the supplies in the back of the wagon, but you can't figure out where it went after that. And you don't see any sign of tracks or a trail to follow. With these rolls, the path goes cold here.
Minnove's gonna try and call out in Draconic.
What do you say?
Hello? Hello? Are you alright? Smelled blood?
I mean, the blood is from the horse.
Well, yeah, but like, smelled blood, saw blood,
Right,
also smelt a kobold, want to know that you're okay.
Right. So you call out those things in Draconic, the somewhat guttural, but elegant at the same time language, same as magical incantations, echoes off the trees around you, then settles into quiet. Minnove, roll me a d12, would you please?
Just a flat d12?
Yep. Three. No.
Probably
It's
not
just,
what we wanted.
It's just silence. It has been a couple of hours. It's more than a couple hours at this point. This would have happened at this point close to like 6 hours ago. That yellow
Let's grab
scale
what we
is
can.
gonna be far away by now.
Yeah.
Grab what we can and bring it back.
An excellent idea, Tuki.
Minnove is disappointed. She's like, yeah, let's get this all back to Iggy and the group.
They'll at least be able to make the rest of the way to Anterine.
Hopefully.
Hopefully they won't have to go off mushrooms again.
So, with that last little sort of a chuckle of a joke sort of hanging in the air, not quite settling right over the grisly scene, you gather up what supplies you can from the fallen cart. Couple of bags of what appear to be like mostly just fruits and vegetables, just some basic foodstuffs. One of the bags has what appears to be some spare clothes sort of folded up. It's curious. You do note that of all of the bags where food is missing, you see no signs of any meat. You see no signs of any tools. It's a fair bit of stuff that's
Honestly,
missing.
I was honestly a little surprised parts of the horse weren't gone.
Depending on how hungry you were.
Regardless, you gather up what you can and leave the poor fallen creature to the whims and withers of nature as you make your way back to the road and from there back to Vaughn's House of Respite. And I feel like that is a good place to call it for the night.
Call it what?
End the session.
Oh, okay. That's a weird thing to call it, but all right.
No, that's what I've always said.
Scooby-Doo gang, tonight we are not.
Yeah.
Could not find any clues.
You tried, but you were surveying a scene from several hours ago in an environment that's not necessarily conducive.
Yeah, anything
But-
tainted anything.
But, yeah, so thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, so much for joining us for this session of Ringlight Fables. We'll see you next time. Until then, take care of yourselves, keep listening, and do not be a dick. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Shrumvasa.